There's a line drive high and deep to left. It is gone! 3-run home run, Kyle Kubat. Fly ball to left, Sweeney hit well, and oh, Charlie Capsella, what a play! Here's a line drive out to center field. It's a grand slam! Going back to Shaw, he is going to get there. What a catch! And he's going to hop over the fence while doing it. What a coming home is Morales to throw on a double hop. Is it in time? It is in time! Here's a rocket, deep left field. Does this have a chance to go? It is gone! Go ahead, homer! Tyler Wilkins on the first pitch. Play called for a back on the 14th, and there's number 100. Stephen Devaney with a line drive to left. He's 2 for 2. And with triple digits for number 1 as difference. And here's a ground ball shooting through the left side. And Kingsway has won the Ralph Shaw opener. Here we go. Fly ball deep left center field. And it is gone. Grand slam. Scott Lynch, grand slam. Is the man of the hour. There's a ground ball that's going to go into center field. It's going to be picked up, and it's going to be booted. Here comes the runner to the plate, and Pittman has won it in extras. Walk-off single, Jude Engstrom. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swinging on this! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic. From Jim Devonshire Field, we're here with coverage of late action South Jersey high school football here between the Riverside Rams and the Pennsgrove Red Devils. I'm still just waking up, honestly. It's 11 a.m. on a Thursday. I never thought this game would have happened, but I got a DM from Coach Ebel on Tuesday telling us, why don't you come on out at 11 a.m. Riverside's going to be in town, and this is honestly quite a quiet atmosphere for a Thursday morning football game. You know, you think of Thursday night football, you think of Monday night football, you think of under the lights. Well, there's no lights here, but there's no school in town either. Just because of the New Jersey Teachers Convention, we're off Thursday and Friday at the public schools. So these guys have decided to have a make-up football game. This is Pennsgrove's 12th football game of the year, including playoffs, with a 5-6 record this year. Riverside, with Bob Van Sciver at the helm, is having one of their best seasons in a long time at 6-3, despite their first-round playoff exit to Woodbury. And then Pennsgrove got here. Their season ended just a couple of weeks ago versus Florence. But this is still a great program. And that is where we're going to have this right now, with two teams that are just looking to get some starters in, looking to get some reps in before the end of the campaign, because neither of these guys have a Thanksgiving game scheduled. So after today, this could be the last game of the 2023 season for each of them. But it's our 19th football game of the year, and let's see what we'll have coming up for us in just a couple of minutes with Riverside and Pennsgrove right here on DWB. We'll be right back.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp. Take it to Maine. Here from the Jim Devonshire Field here in Pennsgrove High School at Kearney's Point, just about 30 minutes away from the headquarters of DWB. We've got an NJSIAA crossover game between the Riverside Rams and the Pennsgrove Red Devils. I'm Dan Wilkins here with my producer making his debut, Hunter Lowe. Doing a great job so far. We've got a game between two rushing teams that don't exactly have playoff implications on the line, but still have team pride on the line, especially for a team like Riverside that has mostly been a road warrior all year. They only had 2 home games scheduled at the beginning of the season, and with Bob Van Sciver at the helm for the Rams, they led the team to a 6-3 record, with the first 4 games of the year all being on the road, winning versus Princeton, Lindenwold, and Pittman on the road, and losing to Shalleck, but a 3-1 start all on the road is a good start. They then had 1 home game versus Bishop Eustace, which they won. They beat Gloucester Catholic on the road and Wildwood at home. So Riverside only had 2 home football games scheduled all year. They lost in the first round to Woodbury 40-8 in the first round of the South Jersey Group 1 tournament, and then lost to Camden Catholic 32-28 in the NJSIAA crossover game, and they have 1 game left after this, their 13th game of the year. That's going to be the annual Riverside versus Florence game, the last game of the 50-year career of head coach Frappoli for the Florence Flashes. That is going to be their final game, and it's going to be on November 23rd, 11 a.m. For Pennsgrove, again, entering their 12th game of the year. They're 5-6 this year, starting off 0-3 with losses at home to Burlington City and Pleasantville, and then losing to Woodbury on the road. They then beat Salem, lost to Haddon Heights, and had 3 straight wins in a row from September 30th to October 13th, knocking off Paulsboro, Glassboro, and Pennsville. They lost to Woodstown to close the regular season, beat Florence by a defensive score of 6-3, and then lost 34-14 to Woodstown as Woodstown advanced to the South Jersey Group 1 finals. That will be tomorrow on Friday, November 10th. I can't believe it's already the second week of November. But the way these guys are playing right now, these are 2 rushing teams, and we're probably going to be out of here by 1 o'clock. And then we have 1 more game tonight at 3 o'clock with the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Audubon Green Wave in the girls soccer state semifinals. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But this is the first edition of our DWB doubleheader here in the NJSIAA football crossover from the Jack Ware track and the Jim Devonshire Field right here in Kearney's Point down in Pennsgrove High School. They're going to get ready for the coin toss and the national anthem. We're going to keep it right here on DWB. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement, the place to be for all things wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops. Visit today on 612 Creek Road on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp. But Riverside with Bob Van Sciver and Pennsgrove with Coach John R. Emmel. Pennsgrove 2-2 in the WJFL Diamond Division, and Riverside 4-1 in the WJFL Horizon Division. Again, Riverside has 1 game left scheduled this year. It is their Thanksgiving game versus Florence, and for this is the last scheduled game for Pennsgrove in the 2023 campaign. So both teams meeting at the center 50 right now, with the red and white PG in the center. On a rather quiet Thursday morning, of course, the public schools are off because of the fact that we have the NJEA Teachers Convention down in Atlantic City. So the parochial schools are still in session, but all the public schools are out. So the way that we're going to play this one today may be a bit of a subdued crowd, but it's still going to be a nice atmosphere nonetheless. Al Muskowitz is there on the far sideline. He's getting his reporting in for this consolation game. He's having some fun out there. Not really a whole lot to do on this Thursday morning, but what else would you have to do except watch some football? We'll keep it here for the national anthem. Well, you know what they say. It's time for some football. Here from Kearney's Point to Jim Devonshire Field. I'm Dan Wilkins here with Hunter Lowe, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan, and our social media coordinator Anthony DePalma. This is going to be a good game, but it's also going to be a rushing game. Remember what Pennsgrove has on the line after speaking with Al Muskowitz before the game. Pennsgrove right now has number 6 on their roster, Karan Caesar. He is the first true freshman to be a starter at a skill position for Pennsgrove in almost 20 years. And what's even more important is that for Caesar this year, he's at 905 rushing yards. If he gets himself to 1,000 by rushing for 95 yards this afternoon, he is going to be the second player for Pennsgrove to reach 1,000 yards on the season. And the last time that Pennsgrove had 2,000-yard rushers in a campaign was 2012, 11 years ago. Pennsgrove's going to get ready to send this one away. Riverside will receive. Getting ready to go in some consolation football here on DWB. Sending this one away will be number 50, I think that's number 58, Kyrie Robinson. 48 minutes is underway. Here we go. That one is going to be popped up to the 25. That one is smothered in at the 25, and Riverside's going to take it over for their first possession. Looks like NJ.com is all updated. Okay. So both sides are updated. Yeah, that's the blessing. We didn't have rosters going into today's game, so we have NJ.com rosters that, thank goodness, are all updated properly. So let's take a look at Riverside and Friends with Bob Van Sciver, their 6-3 record this year, with their quarterback number 7, Jameer Brown, 6'3", 150 pounds. Along with that, their big position guys, John Boston, Justin Mary Jr., Teddy Hawkins. They have a lot of key essential players that can make points on the board, and that's what makes them an efficient rushing team. As here comes a rush by John Boston. That's going to be enough for a one-play first down as Riverside gets the tone set early with a rush of about 12 yards by John Boston. This is our 19th football game of the year, and we still have 3 left. We have JV football between Audubon and Haddon Township on Monday. It's going to be Monday Night Football at 6:30. And then after that, we have the Thanksgiving Eve matchup between the Gateway Gators and the Woodbury Thundering Herd from Angelo Natoli Stadium on November 22nd, as Brown with a handoff to Justin Mary Jr. That goes nowhere. Along with that, on the actual day of Thanksgiving, before you put the turkey in the oven, tune in for some early morning football with the Pittman Panthers and the Clayton Clippers squaring off at 11 a.m. on Thanksgiving. That's a high school thing. Second down and about 15, as Justin Mary Jr. did not get anywhere on that play. Mary in motion. Brown with a pass over to the right side. A one-handed catch by Justin Mary Jr., and he goes down, gets it within 10 yards of the first down marker, but it will still be third and a decent amount for the Rams, wearing the white and maroon with Pensgrove on the right side of your screen with the bright red and white numbers. Here on a little bit of a breezy, but still a better November morning than most, if you want to put it that way. I mean, obviously, we've had some really, really brisk days this year, but it's 63 here in Pensgrove with wind blowing to the west at 9 miles per hour. Partly cloudy. No real threat of rain. Brown goes back, scrambles. He makes the pass. It's complete. And we'll see where they mark it on forward progress, but down goes number 6, Jasir Bowens, the senior tight end, and they're going to bring out the special teams unit. So Riverside had the momentum. They had a first play, first down from John Boston, but 2 passes didn't get the yardage that they wanted, and it's going to end up being a 3 and out. Getting ready to send this one away for Riverside, number 4, that being Carmine Smith. That one is going to stay in play. And Pensgrove will set this one up from their own, looks like 30, maybe 25. And that is where Pensgrove will get their first offensive possession of the morning. Still 11-11 over here. We started a couple minutes behind schedule, but I mean, this could be a good game. I think that there's going to be a lot of back and forth, whether it's offensively or defensively. I mean, you know, the way Pensgrove won their first playoff game versus Florence, and not a single touchdown was scored. The final score was 6-3. That was a defensive juggernaut if I've ever seen one. But, you know, the way that these guys play, it's kind of like a war of attrition. These are 2 rushing teams. They're not going to advance the ball in big margins. As a rush to the far sideline doesn't get too far, and he'll stay in bounds with Pensgrove's number 7, that being Knowledge Young, the 5'9" junior on the rush. But again, if we see Karan Caesar get 95 rushing yards, he'll be the first true freshman for Pensgrove to reach that mark in almost 20 years. And also, this will be the first time that Pensgrove has had 2 rushers of over 1,000 yards since 2012, 11 years ago. Here comes a handoff towards the short sideline. He's going to get a good rush on this one with a QB keeper by number 1, Bryce Wright. It's going to be third down. From their own 33-yard line. Pensgrove getting it started early after Riverside's first drive fizzled out. Handoff towards the short sideline. He's got to break away, and he's going to get out just before the 50. As the rush comes in by number 1, or actually, no, excuse me, by number 8. So that's going to be a first down for the Red Devils. They'll set this one up at their own 48. Decent amount of folks showing up here. Again, it's 11 a.m. on a Thursday. I wasn't expecting much of any crowd at all. I mean, you can kind of see it on the far sideline A lot of empty seats, but that's not really anybody's fault. Here comes a breakaway by Karan Caesar, and he inches towards that 1,000-yard yark. It's still early in the morning. I'm still working on how to pronounce words. 1,000-yard mark. He's still inching towards that, and it's going to be another first down for Pennsgrove. They'll set this one up at the 33, it looks like. First down for the Red Devils. Here comes a rush. Believe that is Caesar on the play. He's going to break free. No whistles yet. He's dragging defenders by his back, and it's a it's a Pennsgrove touchdown. Are you kidding me? He was out at the 30. He was in at the 33 and was dragging defenders by his back half the way. It's a touchdown for the Red Devils, and 7:20 into this one, it's going to be 6-0. Looks like they're going to do this trick formation that we've seen time and time again. No, they actually are going to run it for 2, and they're going to get it quite easily. So Riverside was thrown off there. Sometimes you see that formation kind of devolve into a one-point play, but Riverside didn't have an answer for that, and 7:08 left in the first. It's going to be 8-0. Pennsgrove over Riverside after the rushing touchdown and the QB keeper for 2 by Bryce Wright. We'll be right back here on DWB. Pennsgrove leads early. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look. 7:08 left in quarter number 1 as Pennsgrove gets started early with a rushing touchdown to get themselves on the board first. Riverside will have another opportunity here, as this one is sent away. There's a line drive on the kick. Takes a couple hops. John Boston's got it. Muffs it, but gets the possession back. And he's going to be taken down at the 25. And that's where Riverside will take over for their second offensive possession of the day. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, the place to be for the healthiest product choices available for your pet, including toys, food, cages, accessories, and more. Visit today on the 200 block of Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, 7 days a week, or visit online anytime at exoticpetsnj.com. Handoff to John Boston. That'll get him about 5 yards. They'll bring this one up to the 33. Yeah, Pennsgrove, this whole area with Pennsgrove, Pennsville, Salem, this area down near hugging the Delaware River. Obviously, both of these places are quite close to the river, but one is called Riverside, being up in Burlington County. I think they had to travel about 50 minutes to get here, where we had to travel about 30, because they're a little bit north of us up in Burlington County. Here comes another rush. I think he maybe got a yard or 2 on that, and that's going to be 3rd down. But I think Riverside's finally getting the motto of, hey, we tried passing in that first drive, and he went for 2 completions, but didn't get much yardage on that, so they're going to go back to the ground game, because both of these teams, again, are rushing teams. John Boston is an excellent and efficient runner that we've seen this year when we covered them in the Riverside Pittman game on September the 22nd. Here comes a handoff to Boston on 3rd and short, and I think that's enough to bring it across, and it is, for a Rams first down. But yeah, they've made a lot of improvements to this place in the last year. They added the brand new video board, which we'll show during a break, but believe they redid the track and made some improvements to the bleachers as well. They rewired everything here in the press box. They actually have the heat on. There's not many press boxes that have heaters or AC, but they have both. And it's going to be second down. I know Gloucester City at their field, at J.A. Lynch Field, they have the heaters. They also have the 2-story press box as well. That's quite nice. Here comes a rush from Riverside. And it was second in mid-range, but that's going to move him up a couple of yards here on the rush by Justin Mary, the sophomore, 6'1". NJ.com had a typo. It has him listed as 6'1" and 17 pounds. There's something that tells me I don't think that's right. I think if you're 17 pounds, a gust of wind knocks you over. Justin Mary Jr. this year with 846 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, a total of 1,257 career rushing yards, and he's just a sophomore, so he could very well get to 2,500 by the time he graduates in 2026, and you could see the look on his face. He knew that he jumped, and that's going to give Riverside a first down after the offsides call on Damian Wilson, the senior lineman. And that will be enough to move the sticks after the offsides. Something just as simple as that. You know, you jump a little bit, and it ends up having those ramifications where if you do it on like 4th and 6, it sets them up for 4th and short. But in a situation like that, that's enough to move the chains and give Riverside a whole new look at life. It's going to be a handoff to Justin Mary, and he is going to be swallowed up at the 50, maybe about a yard on that one, and it'll be second down. Riverside's cheerleaders coming out in full force on the far sideline. I don't see any Pensgrove cheerleaders here. Not all schools have full cheerleading squads, but Riverside made the trip. Mary in motion to the right side. They do a misdirection. No, they do a play fake. Pass is dumped off to Mary. It's complete. It's enough for a first down and maybe more. He breaks away to the 10. He finally gets tripped inside the red zone. And Justin Mary Jr. takes what would have been a chaotic failure into an incredible success for the Rams. And they're going to get not just inside the red zone, but on the doorstep of a score. Not in a million years did I think that play was going to work. He was immediately under pressure. Pensgrove had their number all the way. And then that's what he does best, though, is Tamir Brown, he throws under pressure really well. And that's what we're seeing from these guys this morning/afternoon, is here comes a rush up the middle. That will be short of the goal line from the 7. On a 2nd and goal now, but you know, you look at these guys. Brown is good at dumping off the ball. He's good at taking the snap, surveying the field really quickly, and then just letting the pass go. And a lot of times it finds a receiver because Riverside is a really fast club. Here comes Boston. He's going to get snuffed at the goal line. I believe at this point they're inside the 5, but it's going to be 3rd down and goal. So Riverside has been knocking on that touchdown for the longest time, but they still have not converted yet. Pensgrove up 8-0 here in this one, in their 12th game of the campaign. Usually you don't see that for high school, but you can play 10 plus the playoff games that are scheduled. Boston tried to get it through the middle, and it's enough for a Riverside touchdown. So just like that, we've got scores in both sides in this first quarter as John Boston punches it through for yet another Russian TD. And I believe they're going to keep the offense on the field to try to level this game at 8. Although 8-6 would be a candidate for scoregami, if you will. We saw that a couple weeks ago with the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, and the Denver Broncos. When they won 70-20. Here comes a handoff. Boston gets tugged at the jersey, and it's going to be short. So the 2-point conversion fails, but Riverside gets the 75-yard drive and chews up a lot of the clock as well. With 1:48 left in quarter number 1, we'll be right back. 8-6, Pensgrove over Riverside. Yeah. Riverside getting ready to go after they got the touchdown from John Boston. The rush attempt failed. And it's 8-6, Pensgrove. I mean, it makes sense, you know. I think they just wanted to try to level the score before the quarter was over, just in case, you know, because those 2 points, what if the game ends 8-6? You know, what if that opportunity never comes? Here comes a squib kick. It goes right through Pensgrove's legs. It's taken in, a big hit. A huge hit, and I think Pensgrove is going to recover inside their own 20. That might have been the most physical kickoff I've ever seen, and I was surprised there was no flag on the play, but I think that's the right call. That went right through the legs of Pensgrove's number 28, Jason Derrick, the junior. And a big hit came in from the far sideline, and now Pensgrove is going to be back against the wall at their own 20, which is where they'll set up shop with 101 seconds left in the first quarter. Pensgrove leads by 2 points after they got the rushing touchdown, followed by the 2-point conversion by the quarterback. Rolling out towards the short sideline, it's going to be Caesar. He's going to break through. He's still on his feet. And is this going to be an 80-yard touchdown? It will not. He'll be taken down at the other 20. Oh, my goodness. For a 60-yard run. Yeah, he might be past 1,000 now. Karan Caesar, which would give Pensgrove their first team of 2 rushers with over 1,000 yards since 2012. Pensgrove calls a timeout, and so will we. 1:17 left in the first. Pensgrove leads by 2. We'll be right back. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting and an NJSIAA football crossover, it's the Riverside Rams and Pennsgrove Red Devils. Pennsgrove leads 8-6 here late in the first quarter, with Karan Caesar muscling his way to 1,000 yards on the campaign and almost 100 on this game alone in the first quarter. Here comes a rush from number 1. It's going to be second down there with Bryce Wright.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And with that run, Karan Caesar has passed 1,000 yards for the season. Give it up for Karan Caesar and his 1,000 yards. As a freshman, he joins Bryce Wright, this junior, with 1,000 yards this season as well. Go Red Devils.
Well, you just heard it there from the AD, Anwar Golden, as Caesar runs to the left and to the right. It's going to be enough for a first down, and it gets them inside the 10. As Pennsgrove continues to have excellent skill positions at their greatest ability. As we've got 26.9 with the clock stopped in the first. Now clock will run. We'll see if they can get one more play off before the end of the quarter. Knowledge Young coming in. Jaden Days coming off. They've got about 12 seconds left to make a play. They just now broke from the huddle. See if they can get the snap off in time. They do. Here comes the pass, and it is going to be incomplete. And that will give us the end of the first quarter after the incompletion intended for number 2, Kyrie Higgs. That's 2 points. We'll be right back after this. One quarter down, 3 to go. Here from the Jim Devonshire Field with the Red Devils and the Rams. Burlington County and Salem County coming together with Pennsgrove after a 60-yard rush by Karan Caesar. Knowledge Young with the ball, and he's going to waltz into the end zone, but there is a flag on the play. So hold the phone here. That flag was thrown as he was crossing into the end zone. Let's see what they call here. Yeah, it looks like he just had a clear path to the end zone. My guess is probably holding, but as is 90% of penalties, but hasn't been too many flags so far. There's only been maybe one on the day, and that was the false start call, or excuse me, the offside call on Pennsgrove. Let's see what the Whitecap has to say about it. Well, I don't know what that was, but they'll run the play again. Knowledge Young again runs through, and he'll get inside the 2 or 3 yard line. As now it'll be 3rd and goal. That was weird. I mean, they didn't really just tell us what the penalty was. I would assume that it was holding. Pensgrove looking to put their second TD of the day on the board. He'll drive through. And it is a Pensgrove touchdown. They got their second one of the afternoon, and that is going to make it 14-6 in favor of the Red Devils. With 11:02 on the clock here in the second. We'll see what they go for here. With number 12, Kalim Smith, coming out there. And we'll see if Bryce Wright is able to get them to go for 2. So Pensgrove is going for the second time today to go for 2. Will they go 2 for 2 from 2? And they will. Wow, Kalim Smith with a big hit. But he gets into the end zone for a 2-point conversion, and that is going to make it an unusual score of 16-6 with 11:02 left in the first half. We'll be right back. Riverside trails by 10 here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Pensgrove gets back on the board. It is 16-6. You don't see that score too often, I'll tell you that. 16 is kind of a unusual football number, but here we go. Kickoff keeps it on the ground. Oh, he muffs it. Who's going to get there? Riverside falls on top of it, and they'll get the ball back at their own 40 after the muffed squib kick. That ball was recovered by Riverside's number 44, Max D'Angelo, the freshman. And with a minute passed in the second quarter, Riverside will have another opportunity. I remember earlier this year on August the 31st, we had an unusual game where at the end of the third quarter, Haddon Township was trailing Gateway 5-0. The game, Gateway ran away with it at the end and they won 19-0, but it was just like, it was confusing because I was honestly rooting for the game to end 5-0 or 5-3, something like that. You know, you always love the unusual scores. Willingboro beat Delran on Thursday Night Football earlier this year, 57-19. That was an unusual score. Woodbury beat Burlington City in the playoff game on my birthday last Saturday, 57-0. We saw 26-20 earlier this year. We've seen 26-20 a lot of times. Palmyra beat Gloucester Catholic 26-21. Northern Burlington beat Cherry Hill West 27-20. That's a pretty common score. Cumberland beat Gateway 25-20, which was a little weird, but it'll be second down and 10 after the failed rush. Brown drops back. He's going to let it fly. It's caught by Mary. Takes that one in, and that should be enough for a Riverside first down. And it will be. So Riverside advances the ball on the pass by Tamir Brown. Which, when I looked at both of these teams and, kind of made the internal thought that, hey, these are two pretty primarily Russian teams. Tamir Brown has proved me wrong for a decent bunch of it. He's been a pretty efficient pocket passer. And even though they haven't been utilizing that as much as like an air raid offense or like a catch and shoot offense, it's definitely something that these guys are experimenting with a little more. Because I did not see this much passing from Riverside when they played Pittman in Week 4 on the 22nd. I did not see that much. But Jameer Brown, 6'3", 150, he is a senior this year. So Riverside will have to find a new quarterback for the 2024 campaign. On 2nd and short from the 49. Riverside looking to move the sticks another time. Brown with a handoff. Justin Mary falls short there. I think he lost his footing or something. Actually, I think he's hurt. Yeah, we're going to call time here. 9:09 left in the second. Justin Mary Jr., one of Riverside's leading rushers, he is down at the 48. Riverside's athletic staff coming out to attend to him. He was going to something. He was pinching at something. I'm not sure what it was, but they are going to attend to him on the 48. Athletic trainer Jennifer Van Hee out there attending to Justin Mary Jr. Anwar Golden, the Pennsgrove AD, out there as well. But it's 16-6, which is kind of an oddball score, but they are still attending to Justin Mary at the 48, so we will take a quick break as they attend to Mary. 9:09 left in the second. We'll be right back. Justin Mary Jr. walking off the field on his own power. Really appreciative of that, but that is going to give a significant delay in the game, and it's going to leave Riverside, at least for a little while, without one of their best rushers. I mean, you have John Boston, but he can't carry that rushing team on his back, considering that this is a primarily rushing team. And Justin Mary is not just a good running back, but he's also a good receiver. So you're losing, a versatile athlete for at least a little while as he is getting into the golf cart of Anwar Golden, Pennsgrove's AD. So hopefully he is okay. But right now, 1st and 10, Brown dropping back to pass. It is caught, and it's going to be enough for a first down with a great catch under pressure by Riverside's number 4. That being Carmine Smith, 6'3", 150-pound senior. That's always good there when you can advance the ball right away after coming back from an injury, especially when you know as you're losing a skill position player. If you're losing like an offensive lineman, they churn those out all the time. You could have anybody on the bench be an O lineman or D lineman, but when you lose somebody as versatile as Justin Mary, at least for a little while, that's still going to hurt you. Brown keeps it himself. I think he maybe gets 1 or 2 yards out of this one. It's going to be second down from the Riverside. Actually, no, from the Pensgrove 34. They're moving the ball efficiently. That's what I like about Riverside, is that they are moving the ball quickly. They're getting first downs efficiently. You know, Pensgrove is making them fight for those first downs, but they're still getting them. And that's what's important, is that these guys are moving the ball without trudging along. You know, they're not chewing too much time off the clock. They know they're down by 10 points, 16-6. So we'll see what they can do. We'll see if they can get back on the board. Man in motion. Brown drops back. He's got 3 men on him. Dumps it off to Boston on the short sideline. He's going to stay inbounds. And he was not getting through number 77 there. And that is going to be, I think it's going to be third down. That's Pensgrove's Najee Painter, the junior, with 17 total tackles on the season. It's going to be third down and 6. From the 30 after the completion by John Boston. Boston lines up to Brown's left. And I think that's going to be a false start. Not sure. Yeah, I think that is going to actually be Pensgrove offsides, because they had the man in motion, and then one of the Red Devils jumped. So that's going to be enough for third and short. Pensgrove's got bitten a couple times with those offsides, and you know, this is what these crossover games do. You're out of the playoffs, you're out of a state championship, but what's important is that you're getting these rough moments out of the way. You know, be glad that you didn't have that offsides at a playoff game, so when you do it here, you can learn from it, and you can learn from it in a relatively low-stakes manner. Boston's going to drive the ball across for a Riverside first down, and they are also going to be in the red zone. So that's something right there. You know, they are getting first down after first down, and obviously they needed a little bit of a boost in that offsides call to get them that first down, but you know, Van Sciver is a smart coach. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he turned this Riverside ball club from a 2-7 team last year after Riverside started the year 2-0 and then lost 7 in a row to end the season. That's rough. If you're a ball player on Riverside last year, you're thinking, okay, we're 2-0, we're great, and then you lose 7 in a row. That's a gut-wrenching feeling for any player on any team. But they bounced back. They went to a 6-3 record this year and even made the playoffs despite losing to Woodbury in the first round. John Boston is still on his feet. He's inside the 10, and he gets knocked out of bounds. And a huge rush there for John Boston as he showed a little love there to the photographer on the sideline. He thought he was going to get his picture taken. Thought he was going to get in the yearbook or whatever they have down there. I know Al Muskowitz is here somewhere on the far sideline, but there he is in the Eagles jacket. It's going to be second and short with less than 6 minutes to go in the half. Riverside driving. Could make this a 16-14 game if they get 8. Could have a whole slew of scoring possibilities here inside the 10. On second and goal. That is going to get snuffed out immediately. Going to be third down. I mean, if you're Riverside here, if you don't convert, do you take this? Try to make it 16-9? Do you try to, chip away at that a little bit? Because you know you're going to get another opportunity. These teams score quick and they score fast. So if Pensgrove stalls out on their next drive, which they have before, you'll just have to see if Riverside can take, because they're going to have to, if they're going to tie the game, if they're going to take the lead, no matter what, you need to have 2 possessions. Hold on here. Timeout called by Riverside. They use their first of the half, and we'll take a quick break. 4:57 left in the first half. Pensgrove up by 10. Here in the second half of the first half, if you will. 4:57 left in quarter number 2. Riverside on the opposing 11 on 3rd and goal. Going to try to sniff the end zone again. Down by 10. Brown lets a pass fly over the middle. It is caught by Carmine, and it's a touchdown, Riverside. They make this a game again, and they're going to make it 16-12 with a pass over the middle, the first passing TD of the afternoon, and the forced touchdown of the half, and what has been, for high school football standards, a relatively high-scoring first half. You know, sometimes you see the games end like this, but we'll have to see what they can get here. .452 on the clock. They are going to go for 2. All 4 touchdowns have had 2-point conversions attempted. Riverside did not get theirs on the first, but John Boston's going to get his on the second. And that is going to make it 16-14 with Pennsgrove now back to a 2-point lead. We'll keep it here on DWB. This broadcast is brought to you by KP1 Designs. Get a free commission quote today on their Twitter page at KP1 Designs. Or I guess it's called X now, but still, I don't call it X. You shouldn't expect me to. Having all sorts of fun. Don't forget, the fun doesn't stop here. Here in Pennsgrove, we've got another broadcast later today at 3 o'clock. Tune in for the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Audubon Green Wave in the state semifinal for the girls' soccer tournament. The winner goes on to Franklin High School in the state final on Saturday. So that will be our last Audubon soccer broadcast of the year, no matter what. The boys' team is out and the girls' team, they'll have NJSIAA and NJ.com pick that one up on Saturday. So that will be fun. But now after beating 4 other teams to get to where they are now, they'll have to play at least 2 more games on their season to win the state final. You got to have 6 playoff games in girls soccer or baseball or basketball, the 16-team tournaments to make state finals. Hold on. Ball fell off the tee. Lou D'Angelo is picking that one back up. That was funny. Number 55, Chase Perry, the sophomore, to send this one away. Gets some air on it, but it is caught immediately, and he swallows it at the 35. He could have had a good return on that one, but he didn't. And Jason Derrick just immediately fell on top of that one. You see the coaches are talking to him over there. I thought he could have gotten a nice return out of that, but I think maybe he lost his footing, or maybe he just gave up and wanted to end that drive early. But it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 35. As Pennsgrove gets set here to try to drive this ball a little bit further and extend that lead. As they're up by 2, but they've been up 2 most of the day. As Riverside and Pennsgrove, they've been trading touchdowns back and forth, 2 on each side this afternoon. Riverside 1 for 2 on 2-point conversions. He gets tugged at the jersey, and he falls forward and gets the first down and then some. On the rush by Bryce Wright. Tackle made by number 72, Chris Wisniewski. That's going to bring him up to the 45 for a Pennsgrove first down. But that's exactly how you make those kind of drives where, you just get that momentum. They didn't need the good kickoff returns. They had a good play on the first drive on the first set of first downs. Here comes a rush by Caesar. He breaks free, and he is going to get all the way to the 20. 2 plays, 2 first downs, and they drive all the way from their own 35 to the opposing 20 in the blink of an eye. So this is interesting. We'll see what they can get here. Handoff to right. He'll have a keeper here. Whistles are blowing, but that took him a couple seconds to stop the shoving in the middle of that lineman dog pile there. So after a gain of 5 on the keeper by right, on the delayed keeper, that is going to make it 2nd and 5. Right with the handoff to Caesar. Going to keep this one on the ground. And we'll see here where they spot this one. I believe it's going to be at the 16 or 17. Yeah, it's going to be on the 16. It'll be 3rd and short. I mean, if Pensgrove doesn't convert, they've been really, really good at converting on 3rd downs. But if they don't, I don't know what the strategy is here. Do you go for 3, or do you try to put everything out on the line and try to trap Riverside against their own end zone if you don't convert? Here we go, 3rd and short. Driving through, and that should be enough for a 1st down. And indeed it will be. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Red Devils. With about 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Seems like both defenses aren't really 100% right now. You know, these guys are just getting touchdown time and time again. And speaking of, there's the 3rd of the afternoon. Pensgrove scores again, and this time it is not Karan Caesar. It is number 12, that is Riverside's number 12. Jaden Days, the freshman, gets the TD, and it's going to be 22-14 after the score, and we'll see what they can do here to try and alleviate that a little bit. For the 3rd time, they will go for 2. Right with a keeper, and he's got it. Stays on his feet, and that's going to make it 24-14 with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first half. We'll take a quick break. Pensgrove back up by 10 here on DWB. All right, you can bring it back. This broadcast is brought to you by Vincent's Lawn Care. Fall cleanup now available. Get a free quote at 609-413-0403. I'll make a quick change, and the football has fallen off the tee again. It's not even that windy. I mean, there's a decent breeze, but it's not terrible. It's not like Chicago in the middle of winter kind of breeze. It's just kind of a mild wind. It's actually blowing into the booth. Here comes a squib kick on the ground, picked up by Riverside at the 35, and he'll slide at his own 40 to set up the Riverside possession with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first half. That one was taken in by number 21, Jaden Ruiz, the 5'6" tight end, and the junior, class of 25. That's what I said, too. NJ.com, he's a 5'6", 160-pound tight end. Actually, no, yeah, 5'6", 140 listed as a tight end and linebacker. Has 5 total tackles this year and a fumble return versus Wildwood in the 38-8 win for the Riverside Rams on October the 21st. From their own 40, Brown goes back to pass. He's in trouble, dumps it off to Boston at the line of scrimmage, and that is not going to get anywhere. It will be second down. Example of doing everything while also achieving nothing. You know, he made the pass, he made the completion, and that's what Brown is really good at. He's good at being a scrambling quarterback. Now, we haven't really seen his mobile ability. Like, you know, he's not like a Mike Vick or a Lamar Jackson. And I don't like to make NFL high school comparisons because it's inadequate. But the fact that he's able to complete those passes under pressure, is that more credit to give to the running backs and receivers like John Boston, or is it, you know, the achievement of Brown, Jameer Brown, that he's able to make those passes and keep, you know, good spirals on it? Like, he gets out of that, that's great, and it's complete on the short side. No, it's going to be out of bounds, just out of play. And Jameer Brown's trying to make his case that he was in. That was intended for number 0, which is not on our roster. Actually, I think it went to Xavier Parnell, but pass is still incomplete. 62 seconds left in the first half with Pennsgrove up by 10. This has been a good game so far. It has been back and forth offense. You know, these guys are good rushing teams, and the defense, though, for both sides have kind of fallen under pressure. You know, the one drive this game that has not resulted in a touchdown was the first one of the game where Riverside punted away after getting the first down on the first play of the game. And that's the reason why they're down by 10 and not by 2. Brown loses the ball, I thought. It looked like he got tugged to the ground at an awkward angle. And clock has stopped with 55.1. Timeout called on the field by Pennsgrove. They used their second of the half. Don't forget to see the bright and young futures of high school football. Tune in to the junior varsity Thanksgiving game between the Audubon Green Wave and the Haddon Township Hawks. Those are your future Green Wave stars and future Haddon Township stars on Monday Night Football, November 13th, 6 o'clock start from the Ricino Turf. And, of course, our 2 Thanksgiving games. Thanksgiving Eve, the Gateway Herd from Angel 22nd. And then on Thanksgiving Day, it's the Pittman Panthers and the Clayton Clippers from Haupt Field, 11 a.m. Before you put that turkey in the oven, tune into some quality high school football from Clayton. Riverside trapped here with 51 seconds left. Fourth and 10 after the incompletion and the recovery. And Riverside is going to send this one away. Carmine gets it, taken into the 30. Pennsgrove going to try to rush. Here comes a nice crossover by Caesar. Here comes another one down the short sideline with no flags on the play. He's going to be out at the pylon. Is going to be short, but it's going to be on the goal line. I think it's going to be at the 2-yard line. That was as close as you could get to a punt return touchdown, and they are going to set it up at the 2. Unbelievable. Pennsgrove is driving, and they're driving hard right now. I was not expecting that kind of punt return from 70 yards out, taken in by Knowledge Young, the junior. Referees are talking this one over. I didn't see any flags on the play, so all 5 referees talking this one over on the 20 to see what they think. I mean, the punt return by Knowledge Young, I didn't see any. I mean, obviously when there's 22 guys converging all at once, you're going to miss something, but I don't know what the controversy is here. So they're definitely questioning something. Pensgrove and Riverside is getting ready. See what happens here. All right, so they are going to wave that one off, and they're going to line it up at the 2. Pensgrove getting ready to put on one more score before the halftime break. Here comes a handoff to Knowledge Young, and he's into the end zone for Pensgrove's 4th touchdown of the afternoon. It's like Van Sciver's not happy about it, but here we go. It's going to be 30-14 with Pensgrove up big towards the end of the second quarter. Do they go for the 2-pointer? Because I don't think that they have a rostered kicker from what I saw. I don't think that they even have a rostered kicker. Yeah, so neither team I think does, because when we saw Riverside play Pittman, that was an unusual final score of 30-21. And they are, for the 4th time today, going to go for 2. Here comes the pass. It is going to be over everybody and out of play. So for the first time today, Pensgrove does not convert on the 2-point conversion. We've got just under 30 seconds to play in the first half, as with 27.9 left, it is 30-14, Pensgrove over Riverside. We'll be right back. In 1 second. We're back. Pensgrove getting ready to send this one away. I think that there was something that Riverside was not happy about, but I think that they got that one settled. So they will send this one away. Pensgrove with a squib kick again, takes it into the 30. John Boston breaks free, stays on his feet, but he gets down at the 38. And Pensgrove stops them pretty decently, and they're going to be at their own 38 to start what would be their final drive of the half. You know, and I think they're going to try to salvage some points here, down by 16. Pensgrove's put up a lot of points early. But by no means is it a blowout. By no means whatsoever. This is an offense-heavy game. We've seen a lot of we haven't really seen a lot of this year where a lot of teams are just struggling on defense and the offense is rampant. Brown lets a pass fly, but nobody is there. He almost threw that right into the defense, and that's going to be second down with 17.4 left on the clock after the incompletion. I mean, you know, hey, going for passes here, we've seen that Jameer Brown is an efficient quarterback from the pocket. He's got a quick release, and that's one of the best things you can have. The last thing you want to do as a quarterback is hold on to the ball so long that you're more susceptible to sacks. So the fact that he's letting go of the ball quickly is a great addition to this team, especially under pressure. It's caught by Carmine, and that's going to go out to the far sideline, and the clock will stop with 9.4 as presumptively Riverside's going to call a timeout here. And yes, Riverside does call a timeout. They use their second of the half. I believe that would be right, yeah. So both teams have one timeout remaining. We'll keep it here with less than 10 seconds to go in the half. Don't forget to stay tuned for the Garden State Pet Center halftime show, followed by 24 more minutes of WJFL crossover football here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Here from Penns Grove High School in Carneys Point, Jim Devonshire Field at the Jack Ware track. Here at PGHS, home of the Red Devils. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We're also selling sponsorships and commercials to small businesses who are interested in getting their brand on the air in front of over 50,000 annual viewers. Packages start for as little as $150 for a 6-month package. We can also film, edit, record, and produce your commercial for your small business at your request and demands for just $250 for a 6-month package. Again, other options are available, so just email us. Again, using the email in the description of this video, we'll send you a business profile with a PDF, and we'll be happy to get you on the air on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Last play of the drive, last play of the half. Brown scrambling. He's going to get out of bounds, but I don't think that they're going to have enough time. Are you kidding me? Wow. They just tried to scramble it. Riverside, I think, maybe wanted him to slide with maybe 3 seconds left so that you get one more play. But they are going to call everybody off, and Riverside did not get the play off in time. I think that was just poor time management right there. You've got to have a better awareness of how much time is on the clock and, you know, what your strategy is. But these guys are going to go to the locker room, and both teams, they certainly have a lot to talk about. After 24 in the NJSIAA crossover special between the Riverside Rams and the Penns Grove Red Devils, the home side, Penns Grove, leads 30-14. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
After one half, it's Pennsgrove 30, Riverside 14, right here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's been a good game so far, a good back-and-forth game, but Pennsgrove has pulled away at the end of the first half to give them a 16-point lead after 24. What have we seen so far? We've seen Karan Caesar get his 1,000th rushing yard and actually have the second rusher on the season with 1,000 rushing yards on the season. That is the first time that Pennsgrove's had that since 2012. It's been an excellent year for Pennsgrove as they entered their 12th game of the season, and they could improve to 7-5 by the end of the day. It's an early morning football game. Don't see much like it here on a Thursday morning, but it's been a good game. Riverside stalled on the first drive of the game after getting a first down on the first play, and Pennsgrove jumped all over it. We've actually not seen a single PAT today. We've seen all two-point conversions through all of the touchdowns that have been scored. So we'll see if Pennsgrove can keep up the momentum and if they continue to run away, or if Riverside will claw their way back as they have been doing all day. They have not had the lead, but they've been down by as little as 2 for several portions of the ball game. So let's see what goes on in the second half as Pennsgrove takes the short sideline. Riverside's been warming up down there for a couple of minutes now. So with Pennsgrove up by 16, it's going to be an interesting second half to see if that run game continues to break down or if the run game will speed up and if we'll see more first downs on both sides and if Riverside will continue to be efficient with moving the ball and moving the chains. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a minute or two with second half football here from Jim Devonshire Field here in Pennsgrove. Second half getting ready to get underway with Pensgrove up by 16. That's the biggest lead that they've had today, as Riverside's going to get ready to to kick this one off to start the next 24 minutes of action with a rather subdued crowd here from Devonshire Field at Red Devil Stadium, at the Jack Ware track as well. Riverside getting ready to go. Just a quick clarification on all of that discussion that was going on towards the end of the second half and the controversy that ensued. This actually bit Iowa, the Iowa Hawkeyes, a couple of weeks ago in college football action, where the allegation by Riverside was that Pensgrove, their returner, had made an illegal or an invalid fair catch. So they let him go when Riverside was saying, no, he should have been backed up where the alleged fair catch was made. This is going to be an onside kick. Pensgrove lets it bounce, and it went the 10 yards needed, and Riverside is going to get the ball back with an onside kick to start the second half. That's incredible. That's a gutsy move, but when it works to perfection. And Riverside is going to set up shop at the 47 after that kick went 13 yards. Pensgrove did not see that one coming, but you take every opportunity that you can get. When you're down by 16 points, you need 2 TDs plus 2 two-point conversions to get the game at least tied, let alone take the lead, and you have to stop Pensgrove on defense. So there's a lot of moving equations that go into a winning football club, and that's exactly what you got right there. Brown fakes, under pressure, spins around, gets past the line of scrimmage. He's going to rush out to the far sideline, and he's got to get a couple of yards out of that, getting out at the 45. This broadcast is brought to you by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. For any job needed, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call, 856-412-0118. Low snap, handoff to Boston, and that, even with the tug of the jersey, it's still going to be enough for a first down. So Riverside gets a new set of downs, but you know, this has been the thing about this game for Riverside, is that they have 14 points on the board, but they have been moving the ball efficiently. Is that they haven't been scoring when it matters, and Pensgrove has been scoring at every opportunity. Now the clock will run here. 11 minutes to go in the third quarter, just a minute into the second half, here from Pensgrove High School in Carneys Point. Glad you're joining us this afternoon with the Pensgrove Red Devils and the Riverside Rams here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I'm Dan Wilkins with Hunter Lowe, my producer. To my right, here comes the rush up the middle. About 4 yards on the play, and that'll be second down. Don't forget, folks, this is the first of 2 games we'll be covering today. It's the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Audubon Green Wave in the Girls Soccer Group 1 State Semifinal. The winner punches their ticket to Franklin High School for the state final on Saturday, as Audubon looks for their first state title since 2018. Handoff up the middle. Boston gonna get stopped there. Last time Audubon won the state championship in girls soccer, I was in the 7th grade. Hard to believe. Time flies, though. Time does fly. Oh, we got a player down for Riverside. That's going to stop the clock at 9:43. He just went straight down. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it's a cramp. Yeah, he went straight down. Yeah, so that is number 55. The kicker, yeah, Chase Perry. What if they need 3 points? You know, who are you going to bring out? I remember a couple of years ago, the Eagles, I don't know if it was Jake Elliott that was hurt, but I remember there was a linebacker that did the kicking for a game. I can't remember his name, but it was a name that I couldn't pronounce, but it was, it was a couple of years ago. Now I'm gonna have to look this up, but looks like Perry is okay. I definitely think that was a cramp right there. It was from 2019, or 2017 actually, the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It was Camus Grugier-Hill, the linebacker who actually kicked for a game versus the Cowboys. Man in motion here. They're going to hand it off, and that is not going to get anywhere. It's going to be 4th down. I think Riverside should 100% go for it here. I think that you've got nothing to lose. You're down by 16. They're not bringing out anybody from the sideline, so I assume they're going to bring it back with 4th down and 4 from the 29. They didn't get anywhere on that last play. We'll see what they can get here with already 3.5 minutes gone into the third quarter. You've got to take everything you can get. They know John Boston can get through those guys, but Pensgrove's got everybody up on the line. They're not getting fooled. Brown drops back. Dumps a pass off. It's caught. But will they get close to a first? He gets tugged by the jersey and down. That will be short. No flags on the play. And that is going to be a turnover on down. So Riverside with a valiant effort, but they turn the ball over here as Pensgrove looks to extend their lead even more. So they'll set this one up from their own 35, and Pensgrove's going to have another ball here as they have scored, if I recall correctly, on every offensive drive this afternoon. They've put 30 points on the board, but it's not a blowout by any means. Riverside has kept them in check, but neither defense has really stepped up except for Pensgrove quite recently. But in the first quarter, it looked like it was just going to be a game, you know, a slugfest where every team was going to score on every drive. Here comes a rush from Knowledge Young. He's going to get a first down here, and he's still on his feet. And he finally steps out at the 35. And that's what Pensgrove is really good at, is that they come out with a bang. They open up the drive, you know, with a thunderous statement, if you will. We're like, we may be in our own territory, but over the course of the next 30 seconds, we're not going to be. So 8 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third, as Pensgrove's going to line this up from the 39 with an easy first down. Now on the other side of the ball, Riverside is going to have to step it up on defense if they want to have a chance of winning this game. Here comes a handoff to Caesar. He's going to get a first. We'll see what he can get here. He's still on his feet, and he is diving into the end zone for a Pensgrove. He stepped out. You're good, Hunter. I thought that was a touchdown too, but he stepped out. Couldn't get that one in, but they are still going to be closer than ever to the end zone as they're going to try to extend their lead. .7:58 left in the third. Here comes a rush up the middle, spinning around and getting into the end zone as Pensgrove, after that mistake there, we finally get back into the end zone, and it's going to be Bryce Wright who brings it home to make it 36-14. Pensgrove up big here in the third. I mean, you know, Riverside had them by the reins for a little while now, but they have pulled away, and they have made it a 22-point lead for the Red Devils. They're going to go with this weird play again. I've seen the Indianapolis Colts do this a couple times. They're going to go back to going for 2 on this play. No, they are going to go for 1. First one of the day, and they muff the snap, and it gets blocked. Well, I think that's why they go for 2. PAT fails off the boot of number 28, that being Jason Derrick, and a muffed snap and a blocked kick make it 36-14. I mean, hey, you're going to need to kick PATs at some point, so I'm glad that they're at least trying, but that one is unsuccessful. 7:55 left in the third quarter. 36-14, Pensgrove over Riverside. In the NJSIAA football crossover, it's the Riverside Rams 14, Pensgrove Red Devils 36. After they scored their 5th touchdown of the game, the PAT was blocked. That's a nice way of saying it. I'll send this one away. Keeps it on the ground again. Riverside snuffs it. But Riverside will take this one over from good field position at their own 47. But good field position doesn't mean anything if you don't score. So it's taken in by number 21, Jaden Ruiz. Kick made by number 55, Damani Bryce. So we had Kyrie Robinson at some point. Now it's Damani Bryce. This is actually only the 4th game that he's appeared in this year. But Riverside has been kind of a Road Warriors team. Out of their 10 games this year, this is their 8th on the road. They've only had 2 games at home, one versus Bishop Eustis and one versus Wildwood earlier in the year, as Boston's going to drive through, getting a couple yards out of that one. It'll be 2nd and short. I mean, Pensgrove's been even. They've had 5 home games: Burlington City, Pleasantville, Paulsboro, Pennsville, and Woodstown. But that Paulsboro game was quite a good one. Paulsboro led 19-0 at the half, and Pensgrove came back, scored a touchdown in the 3rd on a Bryce Wright run, and then had 2 TDs in the 4th to win the game. 22-19 was the final of that one. Here comes a rush up the middle by Boston. Not going to get anywhere with that one. Third and short. And we got flags everywhere. False start in the offense. So that'll knock him back 5 yards, and on a 3rd and short, that now becomes 3rd and long. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 now. From the 48, back basically where they started on this drive. They have still not crossed the line for a first down yet. But we'll see if Riverside can hang on. Here comes a handoff up the middle. And that is going to be short. So John Boston could not get there. But again, I think that they're going to go for it just for the sake of, hey, we're down by 22. You've got 1.5 quarters left now that we've just crossed the 6-minute mark. you might as well go for something, right? Brown's been an efficient passer under pressure. And, of course, that last completion to end the last drive was short, but you don't need as much of a Hail Mary this time. You only have 3 yards to go. You're at the 45. You either try to find a hole with Boston. You could see Carmine Smith lining up in the slot. Brown's going to get ready to go. He rolls out to the right, breaks through, and that is going to be a face mask with flags coming in at every angle, and you could see that from up here. A blatant face mask on Pensgrove, and that is going to give Riverside a big break. And yes, it is a face mask. I mean, you do not get more blatant than that. Kyrie Robinson on the penalty there. And Riverside will get a first down and then some. That drive, if it weren't for that face mask, he would have been down and out of it. No chance he would have converted. But Pensgrove gave him that first down. It's been a high-scoring affair so far, though. Highest-scoring game we had this year with 57-19. Willingboro beat Delran, a total of 71 points scored in that one. Or 74 points, excuse me. Man in motion. Boston with the direct snap. And we'll see where they take this on forward progress. I think that he might have gotten a yard. Nothing crazy, though. Yeah, that's going to be 2nd and 9. With 4:35 left in third. Riverside driving again. That would have been an easy turnover for Pensgrove, but unfortunately that really costly mistake allows a first down. Here comes a rush to the short sideline. Not going to get far with that one. And it'll be 3rd and 6. On the rush by number 3, Xavier Parnell, the 5'7" junior. Under 45 pounds, 13 yards of rushing going into this game with a high of 6 in the Lindenwold 59-0 win to start the season. Of course, Lindenwold this year only spent half of the year as a varsity club, as here comes a deep pass. It is incomplete, intended for number 0. And instead they get 0 yards on the play, and it's going to be 4th down. I mean, now what do you do? Riverside's been down and out before, and they've clawed back, but how many lucky breaks are you going to get? How many opportunities are you going to get at success, and how many lucky breaks are you going to have? Parnell's going to stay in, as they'll talk this one over. And just the way these guys have been playing, you know, Riverside is going for the deep ball when they have to, and Brown's an efficient passer. They just haven't gotten anything to fall, really. This kind of reminds me of the West Effort Salem game we did earlier. But we'll see. They're going to hand it off to Brown. I don't know what I just saw, but I know that wasn't what they drew up. And that is going to be a turnover on downs on what I can only presume is a miscommunication. I don't know what happened there. Timeout's going to be called on Riverside as they are going to talk this over. They used their first of the half with 3:38 to go. 36-14. Riverside turns it over. Pensgrove up big. 36-14, Pensgrove leads with 3:38 left in the third here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That's also available in the description of this video. As Pensgrove takes over from their own 38. Here comes a handoff by Wright. He breaks free, and he's going to get past the 50, shakes off a couple defenders. Gets pulled by the collar, no flags. He's still on his feet, and for a 72-yard touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryce Wright. What a day he's had. He is certainly a contender for a player of the game. And they're going to bring Jason Derrick back out for another PAT, as Riverside had a grip on this game, but they've let it slip away, with it being 42-14. Pensgrove up big here in the consolation. Jason Derrick coming out. Send this one away. No, they are... Yes, they are going to kick this one. Karan Caesar to hold. The first PAT attempt failed. All of their other two-pointers have been good. High snap. Gets it up, away, and it is good. Jason Derrick punches it through, and it's 43-14. Pensgrove up by a boatload here midway through the third. We'll keep it here. Man, what a game this was up until Pensgrove, kind of took the money and ran. They were toying with Riverside a little bit, and then they just let it fly. And if they hold on to this one, Pensgrove would improve to 7-5. Riverside would fall to 6-4. Don't forget, we have Monday Night Football next week on the 13th with some JV action between the Audubon Green Wave and the Haddon Township Hawks. Tune in to see some of the WJFL's best and brightest futures playing off on their Thanksgiving special. But yeah, where did they play Monday Night Football for Thanksgiving? But they played a whole week and a half before the actual Turkey Day. But it's hard to believe Thanksgiving's almost here. This is our fourth to last game of the season, unless we magically get a crossover game like next Thursday or something like that. I mean, this is funny in itself, because usually you don't see Thursday morning football, but alas, we have it. There was football last night. Pittman beat Haddon Township 32-13. Pensgrove's going to send this one away. Riverside all up on the front line, with Pensgrove running away with this one, scoring 13 points in the third quarter. They had 30 by the end of the half. Not sure what the holdup is.
I got it.
Whatever the issue was, it's been fixed, and Pensgrove's going to send this one away. They got a booming kick on it. It's taken in by Boston inside the 10. And he's going to get wrestled to the ground. And they finally let go of him. Man, what a rush that was from the Pensgrove defense. And Riverside's going to take this one over with some unfavorable fielding position. And they are going to let this clock run with the lead being as big as it is for Pensgrove. Especially with that running clock, it being 12:57, probably could be out of here by 1:30.
Sometimes on the injuries and penalties.
Riverside lines this one up 1st and 10 from their own 10. Boston gets out. That was a great run there on the far sideline. And that's going to be enough to move the chains. Like we said, Riverside's been efficient at moving the ball, just not when it matters most. And that defense has been kind of a liability for the Rams. And that's something that, look, if these guys go to 6-4 by the end of the day, fine, whatever. Take that as you will. But their offense is really good. But Pensgrove's defense has just squashed Riverside's defense today. And that's the difference in the score. This would easily be like a 43-30 game right now. Maybe even like a 30-30 game if it weren't for the fact that Riverside's defense has just kind of not really been that much of a factor. Pensgrove has kind of walked right through them. This is the last game of the season for Pensgrove, so they're putting everything out on the line. Riverside still has one game left. They play Florence on Thanksgiving in their annual Thanksgiving tilt. Of course, our annual Thanksgiving tilt will have two of them. The Gateway Gators and the Woodbury Thundering Herd on Thanksgiving Eve at 5:30 from Angelo Natoli Stadium at Gateway Regional. As here's a handoff up the middle to John Boston. He's going to get another couple of yards, another bunch, and that again should be good for a first down, and we'll see where they spot it. And it will be. It'll be enough to move the chains. And on Thanksgiving Day itself, on Turkey Day, it's 11 a.m. It's Pittman Panthers and the Clayton Clippers from Hauptfield Field. So tune in for some Thanksgiving action on DWB. And then, what else am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? Relax? Well, no, because the first week of December, family's going to Disney, so I don't really get to relax, do I? I'm going to be walking around the Magic Kingdom all day instead of broadcasting. At the end of the third quarter, they'll take everybody off here, and it's 43-14 with 12 minutes to play. We should be getting out of here pretty soon with Pensgrove up by a bunch. This game's getting out of the hands of Riverside. We'll be right back after this. The sun's popping out here at Jim Devonshire Field as the sun is also popping for those Pensgrove Red Devils. They have been red hot today. 43-14. They lead by a boatload here at the start of the fourth quarter with the running clock. Boston with a rush up the middle. He's going to break free. He is still on his feet at the 35, and he gets taken down for a first down and then some. I told you, Riverside has a great offense. And they would have scored a lot more if Pensgrove's defense wasn't so powerful. But when Pensgrove is a good offense and a good defense, that takes the cake any day. And, with the games that they've played this year, they had a rough start. They went 0-2 to start the year, but they bounced back. And now they're going to be 2 games over 500 to end the season. And I'm sure Ebble's happy with that, Maybe they're not happy with the result of the fact that they lost their playoff game. But at the same time, these guys, think of this as a tune-up game. Think of this for their underclassmen. Think of this as, kind of the preview of next year. What are you going to see from your freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in 2024? How are these guys going to play in the playoffs next year. They made it all the way to the sectional semifinal. They lost by 20 to Woodstown, but with the roster improvements that you make over the offseason, as you said earlier, the head coach really just has to deal with the hand that he's dealt. So it gives him a lot to think about going into the offseason. Parnell, not going to get anywhere with that one, maybe a yard, and it's second down. With 10:20 on the clock now. Might be getting out of here sooner than we thought. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Don't forget, don't go anywhere. We've got another broadcast at 3 o'clock, so in 2 hours, we got to travel from Kearney's Point back up to Audubon at DWBHQ. We've got the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Audubon Green Wave squaring off in the girls soccer Group 1 state semifinal. John Boston still on his feet. I don't know how he got out of that, but that's going to result in a loss. It'll be 3rd down. Decent crowd on hand in this one. And it's going to be 3rd down and long. I should say it's a good crowd considering that the game started at 11 a.m. on a Thursday. I'll say that. A lot of empty seats, but again, the public schools are off for the teachers' convention, but people are still at work, so a decent amount of folks are watching this game at home, so we appreciate your viewership. Here comes a pass by Brown. Caught in a... Yo! Look at that! What a hit by Pensgrove. There's no words for that one. That is just incredible. Romello Erickson, the sophomore defensive back, comes in out of nowhere and lays the hammer down. Oh my gosh, even the ref's got a smile on his face. He knows what he just saw. Wow. And he got a nice hand from his sideline. Brown with one last chance. He's in trouble. Now John Boston has it on a 4th down desperation play. They cross the line of scrimmage, and he's somehow going to get a 1st down out of that. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? That reminds me of a couple weeks ago we had Keensburg and Pennsville. Quarterback fumbles the snap, goes 10 yards in the opposite direction, picks it up, jukes through the defense, and gets a 1st down. So it's a 20-yard rush, despite the fact that it was 1st and 10. Goes 10 yards backwards, gets 20 yards for a 1st down. And they're going to set this one up with 7 minutes to play. I think Riverside's kind of going into, okay, we're just going to play it at normal pace. We're not really worried about getting a whole bunch of points on the board. Because, again, not a playoff game. You pretty much know the outcome at this point. Brown again. They are scrambling for their lives as they send that one out to the 1st down marker on the far sideline. Don't forget, folks, to give us a follow on social media. Of course, if you like what you see, give us a subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever DWB is on the air. Also, you can follow us on Twitter/X at DW Broadcasting. That's the same handle for Instagram as well. You can also give us a like on Facebook at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Follow us on social media for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes action, and more extras, along with score updates and updates from our reporters on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I don't know what Pensgrove was doing, but they're going to let a pass fly. It is caught, and it's going to be a Riverside touchdown to get back into the game. An incredible catch on the far pylon by Carmine Smith, and that is going to make it 43-20 for the 63rd point scored this afternoon. Clock is now stopped because it's only a 23-point lead, so Riverside is now able to play at their own pace. But Pensgrove is still probably going to keep the ball on the ground and try to keep that clock moving as much as possible to chew as much time off the clock. Riverside will go for 2 here with Brown in the shotgun, Boston behind him. Handoff to Boston. Did he get through? Yes, he did. 2-point conversion is good. And an unusual score, to say the least. It's 43-22 with the clock stopped now at 5:42 left in regulation. Riverside still trails by a bunch, but the game is at least a little bit more in reach. We'll be right back. Pensgrove getting ready to receive as Riverside gets back on the board with their 3rd touchdown of the day and a successful 2-point conversion to make it 43-22. If you're curious as to whether this score would have resulted in scoregami in the NFL, it would not have, but the only NFL game to have a 43-22 score was the Patriots and Colts on January 11th, 2014, in a game that ended 43-22. And if Pensgrove gets back on the board and makes it 50-22, I'll tell you right now, that would be scoregami. If the score holds at 50-22, and if, of course, this were an NFL game, which it is not sure if you were able to tell, but this is not an NFL game. Maybe there's future NFL guys in here, but I'm not sure about that. But if this game were to end 50-22, that would be scoregami. 43-22, however, would not. But that's unbelievable that that's only ever happened once. But if you're not familiar with what scoregami is, as you can see, what is this? He's holding down the kickoff. I have never seen this formation before. He's holding down the kickoff. I didn't even know you could do that. Here comes the rush, and he's going to get stopped at the 40. No whistles yet. Now, finally, it goes down. Hold on now. I don't know where forward progress is going to take him. I've never seen a kicker have to get a hold on the kickoff. I guess that happens if it's really windy, but it's only a light breeze out here. That's a weird formation if I've ever seen one, but Pensgrove still picks it up with 5:14 left to go in regulation. 43-22, Riverside trailing by 21. But what scoregami is basically is a timeout's being called by Pensgrove. What scoregami is, it was drawn up by John Boyce, who is a content creator on YouTube for SB Nation. He came up with it, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago, to basically see how many unique scores have happened in NFL history. It happened a couple weeks ago again, Dolphins and Broncos. It was 70-20. It was the first time in NFL history that game had happened. And it was basically because you can score in so many different ways, with the safety, with the touchdown, with field goals, with extra points, 2-point conversions, that basically any score is possible in the NFL. So that's where that combination comes in, where it's basically, think about it like origami. That's literally what it's a play on word of, is that it's score igami. Score origami, basically. Where they figure out, okay, if this game ends at the current score, has that ever happened before? Again, 43-22 it has, but 50-22 has not. The higher you get on the scoring column, the more amount of points that each team scores, the rarer and rarer that game becomes. And obviously those big blowouts, they happen all the time, but the way these guys are playing right now, I'd say the fireworks aren't over. I would say 100% the fireworks are not over by any means. So they'll line this one up from their own 40 after the return by Wright, with 5:14 to go in regulation as the sun is popping out here in Kearney's Point. Rush to the short sideline by Caesar, and he gets forced out of bounds. And you can see Pensgrove's coaching staff was kind of telling Caesar there was, hey, you got to stay in bounds because you want that clock to keep running, but that stops the clock with only 8 seconds elapsed on the play. And that's not what you want if you're Pensgrove. You want to chew off as much time as possible so that you can get up there and, have that opportunity. Comes a handoff up the middle. And he gets stopped. So it's going to be 2nd down and 5 from the 40. Even if Pensgrove doesn't get any points on this drive, it's been an efficient game all around for Pensgrove. They've, both of these teams are primarily rushing teams, but Riverside flirted with the pass today more than they have previously. They've gone in the air more than one usually would, and the way that they've played has just been, a different kind of philosophy than what Van Sciver usually has on his plate. Direct snap, almost fumbled, taken in by Wright. He's going to break free down the short sideline to the 10, and he recollects the ball for a Pensgrove touchdown. That's going to be an even 49 on the game, and a PAT would make it 50-22 as Pensgrove's offense continues to produce in great numbers. As they score their 7th touchdown of the afternoon. They've had a couple of PATs go. Jason Derrick now coming out for what would be his 3rd PAT attempt. The first kick was blocked. The second went through. Nope, Derrick is not coming on. So it appears to me that they would go for 2, maybe? There's just a blob of 22 guys out there, not really sure what they're doing. And yes, they will go for 2. Wright might get a direct snap here. It'll be a handoff up the middle, and it is. It is good. 2-point conversion goes on the snap to number 14 for Pensgrove. Excuse me 1 second. That is, sorry, my page. It is number 14, Kylie Goodson, the sophomore. And we will go to a quick break. 2:42 left in regulation, as that should bring Pensgrove back to a running clock on the kickoff, 51-22. So shockingly enough, 51-22, that is also scoregami, at least for NFL. But this is not the NFL. So with thousands of high school football games being played every year in Jersey, I'm sure that combination has happened at some point for every score in the book. Here comes the kick by Simmons. Boston tried to catch it with one hand, and he muffs it. He's got to take that in with two hands. There's a big hit, and he's going to be taken down inside the 10. He's loving that, number 19. He was loving that big hit right there. Karan Terry, the junior, is going to set this one up now with 2:14 and counting. This probably will be the last drive of the game. Don't forget, folks, we're going to pack up on out of here and get to our second game of the day, the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Audubon Green Wave in the state semifinal. For NJ Group 1, the Central Jersey champion Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls beat the Shore Blue Devils 4-3 in overtime to win the Central Jersey Group 1 sectional, as Audubon beat Shalleck 2-1 to win their sectional final. Here comes a rush by John Boston. Spins around. Going to get about 7 or 8 on that one, and that'll be short with now 90 seconds left in the game. We'll get up, stretch our legs, and get ready to jet on out of here. Luckily, our car is parked pretty close. But for those that tuned in, big thanks to everybody for making this happen. Big thanks to Coach Ebel for reaching out to me on Tuesday and telling me, hey, we got a game in 2 days. You want to come out? And I'm like, sure. Why not? Ended up being a good game in the first half, but Pennsgrove just had all the momentum. Definitely player of the game would be Bryce Wright. With now 50 seconds remaining. So we'll see what Pennsgrove can do here as Riverside winding down the clock to what would be their 4th loss of the year. The Rams would go to 6-4 on the campaign. They have one more game versus Florence next week. As there comes a rush, that's going to be another first down, but it's not really going to matter because I think that's going to do it. And their players are going to line up at the 50, and indeed, they are going to call this one 51-22. Pennsgrove beats Riverside to improve to 7-5 in their 12th game of the season. Pennsgrove ends their season 2 games up on 500. Riverside 6-4 with 1 game to play on Thanksgiving versus the Florence Flashes. Final score, Pennsgrove 51, Riverside 22. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, my social media coordinator, Anthony DePalma, our financial manager, Donna Wilkins, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan. My wonderful producer making his debut today, Hunter Lowe. Big thanks to him for coming out on this Thursday morning. We didn't have any school. He could have slept in. He's going to a concert tonight, so you're just getting started, Hunter. But big thanks to him for coming out today.